you guys something. If you notice, every single battery that I have is the same from the exact maker. Okay? I got them at Advanced Auto Part. The dates on there, alright, are in the same year. It's very important that when you buy batteries, they're approximately at the same time. Approximately the same age. I just saw a comment of somebody, and they said they have a couple of lead acid batteries, and like I'm not really anal. I'm not like one of them solar Nazis that's gonna go around. No, don't do that. All I say is have some precaution if you're mixing batteries. Because one of them might be older than the other. One of them might charge faster than the other. One of them might have less or more resistance than the other. And what will happen is if you hook up 3 or 4 batteries all together, and they're of different ages, and what will happen is one of them might get overworked. The other one might, you'll create an imbalance. So one of them might be overheating while the other one is not, and it could eventually damage your entire system. Now, like I said, I'm not one to say don't do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes in a grid down scenario, you got to work with what you have. Um, you know, the person that made a comment, he said that deep cycle batteries are more expensive. They're really not. If you go to an auto parts store like I did, I bought mine at Advanced Auto Parts, and mine are what they call leisure batteries for RVs, deep cycle marine batteries. Um, uh, when you have a car battery, the car batteries are made to give you a whole bunch of energy up front, okay, but they're not made to drain at a long period of time. Therefore, a car battery's plates are smaller and thinner, and if you deep cycle and you use car batteries for solar purposes, your batteries aren't going to last at all. You know what I mean? Because they're not made for that. Deep cycle batteries there are a lot more forgiving. The plates are a lot thicker, and they're made to not give you so much of a cranking power, but more so of longevity. Now, if you buy a deep cycle marine battery like I did, those are what they call hybrid batteries. They are they are starter batteries, but at the same time they are deep cycle. But they're not true deep cycle. Um, the true deep cycle ones would be like the 6-volt Trojan batteries, and they also come in 12 volts. And usually, when you have a deep cycle battery, it will only say amp hours on it. So those are just like little tips. Now, I have my battery bank made out of hybrid batteries, and it works perfectly. But I got all of my batteries are the same and of the same age. They've gotten the same amount of usage, and and they run perfectly well. So all I say to somebody, that they're going to like the person that commented in my previous video today, when you build your system, just take your precautions. My recommendation would be, before you start making your battery bank out of those batteries, make sure you give them all a full charge. You know what I mean? And you use thick enough gauge cable, so you won't have any resistance issues. And just be careful, and monitor them, but and another thing, regardless of whether or not, whatever battery you use, if you end up using car batteries, or if you're using deep cycle marine batteries, any kind of lead acid battery, even AGMs, it's not good to drain them more than 50%, because you'll do a lot of damage to the battery, and they won't last you as long. And these batteries, they like being full. So I mean, me personally, I go out of my way every single day to make sure that my batteries get a full top off charge. Even when I don't have to, I still turn the generator on if I see that the day got a little cloudy, because I want to make sure that I got those batteries up there to a point, to reach float mode. That's my thing. In a day, if I ever, run into a situation where I can't, or I run out of gas, or shit hits the fan scenario, then I'll just let the sun do it. But I always give my personal batteries a little boost with the generator, just to compensate. But these type of batteries, they like being full. Another maintenance tip. I am very meticulous with my batteries, and I change and I check the water every month. I take the caps off. I look if it has enough water. If it needs some water in every cell, make sure you put water. Do not use filter water. Do not use tap water. Only distilled water. Only, I cannot stress that enough. Filtered water, tap water has minerals which will short circuit inside of your cells, rendering your batteries dead. It'll kill your batteries. Distilled water doesn't have any minerals, therefore it's not going. Right now, a perfect example of people whose their phones, they drop their phone in the toilet, or in a bucket or something. you know if you were to drop that phone inside of a bowl of distilled water, then you would have no problem, because since there's no minerals, I mean, your phone will probably turn off, but it won't short circuit. So, a good time in the sun, or drying off, your phone might just work. But what happens is, if you drop it in the toilet, that water has minerals, and with the battery, and it conducts electricity. So since your battery is an electrical component, I recommend you only use distilled water. Okay, distilled water. Now, in terms of batteries, okay, there's many different type of batteries now. You have the lithium ion batteries, which are exceptional but are freaking expensive as hell. You got the AGM advanced glass mat. You have the lead acid sealed lead acid batteries. You have the regular flooded lead acid batteries. To me, okay, this is just my personal criteria regarding batteries. Okay, I don't trust the sealed batteries. I feel for some reason they dry up. That's me. That's my personal thing. I'm a music producer. I do film, music videos, and photography as well. And I take an anecdote from photography and from music video production. When we're filming, we always go manual. Especially with our cameras, we go manual. We don't use the auto settings. I've applied the same thought pattern to batteries. I like manual. I like literally taking the caps off and looking and checking and making sure that there's water. I like being in control of the health of my batteries. So, at the same token, flooded lead acid batteries, it's a technology that's been around forever. It has its drawbacks, but they are a lot cheaper. You know what I mean? So they're a lot cheaper. They are manual. And I actually, to some people that's a negative. To me, it's a plus. I like having that, because I have a commitment to my batteries, and checking, for sulfation, checking for water levels. So, you know, as you guys can see, and I've gotten a lot of criticism from this. Okay, I have my batteries indoors. Okay, indoors in my living room. This is my living room, and that's where I have my batteries. Okay, now my batteries are about maybe 3 years old already, maybe. A little bit after Hurricane Maria. Look at the condition of my batteries. Perfectly clean. Got no dust, no crud, no acid, nothing. Okay, that's how I take care of my batteries. I have little things like right here on top, covering the post in case of an earthquake. I don't want anything metallic falling on top of the post and causing some short circuit. You know what I mean? I have the emergency latch there. For any catastrophic situation. But the batteries here in my house, they're being babied. Okay, they're right next to a window, right underneath a fan. My house is totally ventilated. Okay, and I am not fearful of any kind of explosion because there's no sparks here in the living room. You know what I mean? I don't recommend this for other people, especially if you have children in the house and whatnot. I don't have children, little children in the house, so I don't worry too much. And the thing is that there are a lot of thieves, especially in this area where I live. So even if I wanted to, I wouldn't put out a battery bank outside. Okay, my internet's getting a little jumpy here. Treat them good. They'll last you a long time. People say that flooded lead acid batteries will last you 5 to 6 years. I believe in a solar application, given the right treatment, they'll might last you 8 to 10 years. That, that is that's what I'm hoping for. Well, anyway, guys, that's pretty much it, and I apologize for this jumpy video, but there's something